Hello, classmates that I will probably never meet in real life unless you have to be military. So, for everybody else, probably trying to figure out what is on my head. Well, let me tell you. So this project actually started for Halloween. Me and my friends are big into Halloween. And so she wanted to go to as Medusa this year. Looks like one's caught on there. She wanted to go to as Medusa this year, and she's like, well, I'll just have a bunch of snakes coming out of my head. Well, we did that, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to make it so all of her snakes would move independently of each other. And this front one should be standing up, but he's a little heavy for what I use. But he is actually controllable all by a little joystick. So, a little more into this. Alright, so took it off my head to kind of show you what we're doing here. Unfortunately, some of these need to be repaired. I just now got it back from Halloween. And I think she burned out some of my motors on some of these servos. I figure I'd go over the code I use. So basically, all I did was set up 2 servos to run one after another, and it'll just rotate from one position right here. So this is the first snake, second snake. Each Arduino, the nano boards, are set up for 2 snakes, except for one of them, which is set up for the head snake. So basically it goes in, go in, set the position from 1 to 180. So it writes it, has a delay, and then that's wrong, obviously. I haven't adjusted my notes back. Waits, goes to the second snake. Second snake will move, goes back to the first snake, and then goes to the third snake, or the second snake again. So for the 2 of those nano boards, it is set up to do this code. For the other one, that the Cobra, or the head snake, which is fully controllable by the user, uses this one, which is another simple, just using a potentiometer or the joystick just to move and set the value, and that's what I did with that one. So I took this off my head so you could kind of see a little bit better of what we're working with here. So it kind of looks like a dirty mop right now. But so right now I'm going to start with basics. So also, other than Halloween, we also like to do a lot of cosplay. You don't know what cosplay is? It's basically, dressing up like, actors or comic book characters or whatever. So I wanted it to make sure it lasted all day. So what I ended up doing to power this whole thing was getting a battery pack. Just got this one from wherever. It'll run for 2 days. I had this running for 2 days non-stop, just to see what it would do. So it'll last 2 days non-stop. The Cobra over here, it's kind of falling down. It's taken a little bit of damage, obviously, from being worn. It is all controlled via this joystick that ran down her arm that was kind of hidden by her dress. And that was connected all the way up here to the board. It's all up here, connected to this board up here. Sorry. Also got all of these little motors, little servos. They're just little 180s. I think she burnt out the motors on a couple of these, or the motors went bad on them. So I'm going to have to replace them. I think these 3 for sure are probably not good. this one works for sure. This one works for sure. So that'll need to be fixed. But what powers all these three boards, so they're three independent boards, right? What powers these boards, we went through that, powered the board. That gets powered into, or that gets plugged into here. These three connect all the way up here, go here, get plugged into themselves. And that's all I got. After going through and looking at really what was done and why some of the stuff isn't working on this board anymore, I've kind of torn it apart, you can see. I was trying to look for anything that might be wrong, and I kind of put it back to let you guys see this. I actually had a little bit of an arc right in there, right there, and then another one. I don't know if you can see that. Another one back in here. I'll actually remove these. So it was interesting to note that while she was wearing it, it possibly could have started on fire, which is always a good thing to know. So that was just a thing to note about this setup I had. So this breadboard I'm going to call Gone, and so I will probably, for my final, when it's all said and done, we'll set up on a different breadboard, and definitely add resistors in, for sure. Alright, thinking about what to add to my final, since I'm going to have to tear this board completely apart anyways. And I think what I want to do to add to it, since there's a wire running, or a cable, or whatever you want to call it, running through this to try to make it stand up, I think I want to put an LED light in his mouth and make it change based on the temperature of the room. I think that's going to be the best option right now. So if it's hot, it'll be red, obviously, and if it's cold, it'll be blue. I might even have it set up as a color blend to change, but I think that's what I want to do right in here. Yep. So he's going to have a glowy mouth. He's going to be a fire-spitting Medusa snake. He likes that idea.